What if the secret to surviving, life's toughest moments, changing the world, and achieving your biggest goals didn't start with some massive heroic leap, but with your blanket?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds completely counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're so conditioned to think that massive success requires these massive sweeping actions.
Right.
But there is this really profound psychological mechanism at play when we strip things down to the absolute micro level.
Welcome in, everyone. It is so great to have you here with us today for another deep dive.
We are super excited to get into this one.
For sure. And hey, before we jump in, if you love grabbing the most powerful insights from great books without having to read them cover to cover,
Yeah,
make sure you subscribe to the BookSnap channel so you never miss a dive.
definitely do that.
Because we've got a truly fascinating one lined up for you. Today, we're exploring a viral phenomenon that proves how the absolute smallest daily habits forge, honestly, unbreakable mental toughness.
Yeah, we're pulling from the insights in Make Your Bed by U.S. Navy Admiral William H. McRaven.
Such a great book.
It really is. And this entire philosophy actually originated from a commencement speech he gave at the University of Texas back in 2014, I believe.
Yeah, 2014. And it just took on a life of its own.
Millions of views.
Yeah.
Just went completely viral.
And the book that grew out of it became this global phenomenon. But what I love about the sources we're looking at today is that they make it very clear. This is not a chore manual.
Yeah, not at all.
It's not just your mom telling you to clean your room,
Yeah.
Our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack McRaven's core philosophy from SEAL training and see exactly how that elite military mindset translates into everyday resilience for you.
Right, for the everyday person.
Exactly. And the narrative really starts at the literal beginning of the day,
Yeah.
like the exact moment your feet hit the floor.
The directive is incredibly simple. Make your bed perfectly.
Which, on the surface, it feels trivial.
It does, but from a psychological standpoint, this taps heavily into positive reinforcement and what behavioral scientists call self-efficacy.
Okay, self-efficacy, let's break that down a bit.
Yeah, so by making your bed, you're proving to your own brain within the first 5 minutes of waking up that you are capable of executing a task successfully.
Oh, wow. So it's like a tiny, immediate win.
Exactly. It delivers this tiny but crucial hit of dopamine. You establish a baseline of order before the day has even really begun.
It's like the domino effect.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, you knock over this tiny domino of the bed, and it builds momentum to eventually topple a massive one later in the day. But I have to push back a little here.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I can hear people thinking this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't making a bed feel a bit, disconnected if you're facing a massive, life-altering crisis?
Right, like real adversity.
Yeah. For instance, if my startup is running out of funding, or I'm sitting in a hospital waiting room dealing with a terrible personal loss,
Oh.
how does tucking in a bed sheet actually help me? It feels almost patronizing to suggest that a tidy room fixes a broken life.
That is the crucial friction point, honestly, and it's a very fair critique. But the answer lies in your locus of control.
Locus of control.
Yeah. When you are navigating a severe crisis, the world around you is just pure chaos. It feels completely out of your hands.
Totally.
You cannot control the macro level variables, the market, the illness, the economy, other people's decisions. You just can't control them.
Right, which is terrifying.
It is. And the human brain panics when it lacks agency. But you can control your bed. It's about neurochemically forcing your brain to recognize that you still have agency over something, even if it's just a 6x4 rectangle of mattress.
So it's a psychological anchor.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Furthermore, the source material points out that if you have a genuinely terrible, exhausting day where literally nothing goes right.
We've all had those.
Oh, yeah. But coming home to a bed that is perfectly made by you provides a profound physical sense of comfort.
Wow, yeah. It gives you a sanctuary of order that you created.
Exactly. It's a visual reminder that tomorrow can be better and that you are still the architect of your immediate environment.
That reframing changes everything for me. It's not about the bed, it's about the sanctuary and the locus of control.
Right.
But of course, you can't just stay in your bedroom forever. Eventually, you have to step out the front door.
And the moment you do, individual grit is just no longer enough.
Yeah, the SEALs learned this the hard way with their boat crew drills.
Oh, those are brutal.
The sources describe how trainees are put into these small crews and forced to carry incredibly heavy rubber rafts for miles through soft sand.
The training is deliberately designed so that individual strength becomes a liability if it isn't synchronized.
Wait, a liability? How so?
Well, anyone who tries to shoulder the burden alone or tries to outpace their crew to show off inevitably fails and exhausts themselves.
Ah, because the raft is just too heavy.
Exactly. Surviving the surf zone requires mutual support, deep trust, and a highly coordinated network. You have to paddle together, lift together, and suffer together.
Which translates so cleanly to civilian life. Whether you're launching a business, raising a family, or just trying to exist in a complex society. Absolutely. Building a strong support network isn't a sign of weakness. We have this kind of toxic myth of the self-made individual.
It's a lone wolf idea.
Yeah, the lone wolf. But relying on others is actually a prerequisite for sustainable success.
You build your individual foundation with that first small win of the day, the bed. But you must immediately connect that foundation to a wider team.
Because you're going to need them.
Oh, you will. Because the second you step out into the real world with your team, you're going to encounter unpredictability. You'll quickly face two very harsh realities.
Okay, what are they?
People will surprise you, and the world will not treat you fairly.
Oh, man. Let's talk about the surprises first, because the source material shares these amazing stories about the trainees.
Yeah, the demographics of the SEAL candidates.
Right. You look at a lineup of guys wanting to be Navy SEALs, and the natural assumption is that the biggest, most physically guys, the college linebackers, the bodybuilders, are going to be the ones who easily make it through.
It's the optical illusion of capability.
Yes. But McRaven observed that the trainees who didn't initially look strong, the ones who were unassuming, soft-spoken, or physically smaller, often demonstrated the most extraordinary mental toughness.
There was a specific boat crew he mentions made entirely of the shortest guys in the class.
The Munchkin crew, right?
Yes, the taller crews called them the Munchkin crew. But those smaller guys consistently out-paddled, outran, and outswam the massive candidates.
It's the ultimate scenario of not judging a book by its cover. True value lies in inner determination and willpower, not in physical size or someone's pedigree.
And in our careers and social lives, the greatest impact often comes from the people you might initially overlook.
Especially if you're only paying attention to the surface-level resume or the loudest voice in the room.
Right. Learning to evaluate people based on their grit rather than their optics is a crucial skill.
For sure.
But here's the kicker. Even if you surround yourself with the most determined, grittiest team imaginable, you are still going to hit a wall.
And that wall is the realization that life is not a meritocracy.
Oh, this part of the training is so tough to swallow.
It really is. During SEAL training, there is a punishment called being a sugar cookie.
Just the name sounds deceivingly pleasant.
Right. But it's awful. Trainees who do something wrong are told to run into the freezing surf, roll around in the sand until they are completely coated, and stay that way all day.
Chafing, freezing, miserable.
Yeah. But sometimes they are punished for another person's mistake. Or worse, they're punished for absolutely no logical reason at all.
Exactly.
They do everything perfectly, their uniform is flawless, and the instructors still make them a sugar cookie. It sounds like life is a faulty algorithm where the input of hard work doesn't always equal the output of success.
The faulty algorithm is the perfect way to visualize it. We're raised to believe in this neat little equation.
If you do A and B, you get C.
Exactly. If you study hard, you get the job. If you are kind, people will be kind to you.
But the SEAL training strips that illusion away violently.
Because the training is deliberately unfair. The psychological intent here is inoculation.
Inoculation against what?
Against bitterness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The mature response to working hard and not getting the reward, or being hit by a medical diagnosis entirely out of your control, is not to surrender to the unfairness.
Bitterness is a very natural human reaction, though.
It is. It's very natural. But it is entirely unproductive. It doesn't fix the algorithm.
So by forcing them to be a sugar cookie for no reason, the instructors are basically saying, get used to doing your best and still failing. Because that is what Tuesday in the real world looks like.
Precisely. It teaches you to accept the unfairness, shrug off the sand, and continue working hard anyway.
Which is incredibly hard to do.
It is, but this naturally leads to the next hurdle. If life isn't fair and setbacks are practically guaranteed, how do we process those inevitable failures without losing our minds?
And more importantly, how do we muster the courage to keep taking risks?
Right.
That brings us to one of the most intense mechanisms in the training, the circus.
The circus is brutal.
It's an extra, highly grueling, exhausting physical training session, specifically assigned at the end of the day to those who fail the standard.
So you've already had a physically brutal day. You failed the swim time, and now your punishment is 2 more hours of physical exhaustion while everyone else rests.
The paradox of the circus is fascinating, though. The very thing meant to punish failure is the exact mechanism that builds the ultimate high performers.
It is wild. Over time, the people who were forced into the circus the most, the ones constantly failing and getting extra punishment, actually ended up becoming the strongest and most physically capable trainees in the class.
Okay, let me unpack this, and I actually need to stop and challenge this a bit.
Sure, let's hear it.
Because taking this literally in a civilian context sounds incredibly problematic.
How so?
Well, we are living in an era of burnout and quiet quitting. If I am a manager and I penalize my struggling employees by giving them more grueling work when they fail, they aren't going to turn into super performers.
Yeah, they're not.
They are going to quit, and I'm probably going to get a call from HR.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So how does this translate to a corporate or family environment without just being, toxic abuse?
It's a vital distinction to make. In a corporate environment, simply piling work on a struggling employee is a failure of management.
Right.
But McRaven isn't offering a management strategy for others. He is offering a resilience strategy for yourself.
Ah, for yourself. Okay.
The alchemy of failure in SEAL training works because the trainees have opted in, and the extra physical conditioning literally forces their muscles to tear and rebuild stronger.
So it's about internalizing your own failures, not weaponizing them against your team.
Yes. When you fail in life, the aftermath, the embarrassment, the financial hit, the need to rebuild is your personal circus.
It breaks you down.
It does.
Right.
But if you have the mental resilience not to quit, the extra work required to recover from that failure fortifies you.
It completely reframes how you view a setback.
Exactly. Instead of seeing failure as an indictment of your worth, you learn to see it as an intense period of mandatory growth.
And you desperately need that fortified strength to take the necessary risks to move forward. The sources highlight this one moment in training where candidates have to slide down a rope from a massive tower head first.
Just terrifying.
It really is. But the core lesson is that hesitating on the platform, letting the fear paralyze you, and trying to inch your way down carefully often leads to a much worse outcome than just trusting the technique and taking the plunge.
Because hesitation breeds mistakes.
Yeah.
The human brain perceives risk and immediately floods the body with adrenaline to make you stop. Courage doesn't mean you don't feel that fear standing on the platform.
We definitely feel it.
Oh, yeah. Courage is recognizing that the fear is just a biochemical reaction and choosing to execute the action anyway.
Wow.
To achieve anything of significance, you have to be willing to take calculated leaps. If you constantly optimize for safety, you miss the vital opportunities for exponential growth.
Which perfectly sets up the concept of facing the sharks.
One of my favorite parts.
It's so intense. In SEAL training, they have to swim at night in the waters off San Clemente Island, which are known breeding grounds for great white sharks.
Literal great whites.
The instructors brief them on the different species of sharks and then basically tell them, if a shark circles you, hold your ground. Do not swim away. Do not panic.
Let's look at the mechanism of panic here. When you are threatened, your amygdala hijacks your brain.
The fight or flight response.
Right. It screams at you to thrash around and escape. But the protocol, holding your ground, staying calm, overrides the amygdala.
Because if you panic in the water, you make erratic movements, you draw the shark's attention, and you act like prey.
Exactly.
But for you listening, the sharks aren't literal great whites. Unless you're a marine biologist, I guess.
Fair point.
The sharks are the hostile environments you inevitably enter. They're the toxic negotiations, the hyper-competitive colleagues, or the aggressive people who just want to see you fail. The people circling you, waiting for a mistake.
And the psychological lesson is that exaggerated fear is actually more dangerous than the threat itself.
Wow, yeah.
Remaining calm and focused neutralizes their power to derail you. You acknowledge the presence of the hostile elements, but you enforce a strict mental protocol so you do not let them dictate your emotional state.
But keeping your cool when you're swimming with sharks is one thing. It's another thing entirely when you're at the absolute limit of your human endurance. When the risk, the failure, and the unfairness all culminate in the darkest, most exhausting moments imaginable. How do you pull yourself and your team through that?
This leads to perhaps the most vivid image from the entire source material. McRaven describes a night during training where the candidates are ordered into the freezing mud flats.
Ugh, the mud flat.
They are buried up to their necks, the wind is howling, they're shivering uncontrollably, and they are at the absolute brink of human endurance.
Freezing.
Freezing. Some are ready to quit, And in that moment, what happens? One voice starts echoing through the dark. Someone starts singing.
Singing in freezing mud. I mean, it sounds completely absurd on the surface.
It does.
But the source material explains that this is a critical survival tool. It demonstrates the incredible power of defiant optimism,
It goes so much deeper than just a positive attitude. Singing loudly while freezing actually engages the vagus nerve and regulates breathing.
which forces the nervous system out of a panic state.
Right. Neurochemically, it forces your brain to find agency when you are utterly powerless. When a leader, or even just a peer, refuses to surrender to despair and instead actively projects defiance, it shifts the entire psychological landscape of the group.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. I always think of hope as a contagion.
Ooh, a contagion. I like that.
Yeah, we talk all the time about how panic can spread through a crowd like wildfire. But singing in the mud proves that defiant optimism is equally contagious.
Absolutely.
For someone listening right now, the freezing mud isn't a literal swamp. It's, hour 14 of a hospital stay with a sick parent.
Yeah.
It's the week your company announces mass layoffs. Singing in the mud is maintaining your composure and offering a word of encouragement when everything is just falling apart.
It is the realization that your energy is never just about you. Just witnessing one person endure immense pressure while radiating hope can entirely change the trajectory for everyone in the room.
Your resilience bleeds into your ecosystem.
Beautifully said. And all of this preparation, the daily discipline, the teamwork, the resilience to unfairness, the defiant optimism, it all builds up to the ultimate psychological test in SEAL training.
The infamous Hell Week.
Hell Week.
6 days of extreme sleep deprivation, intense physical stress, and constant harassment. And the entire psychological crux of Hell Week revolves around one simple object, the brass bell.
The bell hangs right in the center of the training compound, visible to everyone.
Always there.
Always there. And the rule is brilliantly sinister in its simplicity. If you want the pain to stop, if you want a hot shower, a warm meal, and sleep, all you have to do is walk up and ring that bell 3 times.
You can quit at any exact second of your choosing.
Anytime.
It is the ultimate temptation. And having it right there, constantly available, must make the physical pain so much worse.
That is exactly the point. The bell introduces a massive cognitive load. Surviving Hell Week isn't just about physical stamina. It is entirely about the cognitive battle of refusing to let despair win.
The temptation of comfort is a heavier burden on the mind than physical pain itself.
Comfort is the ultimate weapon against endurance.
Yeah.
Every single second, the trainees have to look at the easy exit, feel the agonizing pressure to take it, and decide not to ring it.
It's intense. But I think this is a really good moment to address a critique that often pops up around this book and this philosophy overall.
Okay, let's hear the critique.
You'll hear people say military lessons don't really apply to civilians. Or they'll argue making your bed, not giving up, having hope. Isn't that just common sense? Why is this a bestseller?
It is a very fair question, but the book's global impact comes from understanding how human cognition works under extreme stress.
Okay, expand on that.
It doesn't succeed by offering complex, convoluted new theories on behavioral psychology. It succeeds because it takes these concepts, which, yes, might seem like cliches when you are sitting comfortably on your couch, and turns them into a highly practical framework for when you are under fire.
So simple isn't the same as shallow.
Exactly right. The simplicity is the entire point. When your company is going bankrupt or you are dealing with a severe health crisis, your brain's executive function just shuts down.
You're in survival mode.
Right. You do not have the cognitive bandwidth to remember a 50-step theoretical framework on resilience. You need short, profound, immediate directives that bypass the panic.
Make your bed.
Don't ring the bell.
Sing in the mud.
Exactly. The simplicity makes the framework accessible when the pressure is highest.
It synthesizes what true leadership and personal power are all about. If you want to change the world, you don't start by demanding everyone else change.
No.
You don't start with grand sweeping manifestos. You start with the absolute smallest unit of control you possess, your own daily habits.
Because your personal discipline automatically sets the invisible benchmark for everyone around you.
Small actions compound over time to create an environment of high capability. Resilience isn't a magical trait you were just born with.
It's a muscle.
Yeah, a muscle that you build every single morning, starting with the moment you throw off the blanket.
So true.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, it all comes back to that initial question. Changing the world really does start with your blanket.
It starts with proving to yourself every single day that you can execute, you can maintain order, and you can push through the unfairness of the algorithm.
I love that.
And actually, I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over today.
Please do.
Think about the metaphorical bell in your own life right now. What is that easy exit you are constantly tempted to ring when the pressure mounts?
Oh, that's a tough question.
It is. Is it quitting a tough project? Walking away from a difficult conversation? And more importantly, what is the incredibly simple, tiny action you can take tomorrow morning? Like making your bed that proves to yourself you aren't going to ring it.
That is such a powerful question to carry forward. Identify your bell and then build the micro habits to ignore it.
Exactly.
We really hope this deep dives gave you some incredible insights into how the smallest daily actions build an absolutely unbreakable mindset.
It's been a great conversation.
It really has. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, if you love getting these powerful breakdowns, don't forget to subscribe to the BookSnap channel so we can keep bringing you the best insights out there.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Have an amazing day. Keep taking those small steps forward. And tomorrow morning, go make your bed.